What's up guys, SeaOtterGamer here, back with another Saturday morning bonus video. Last week we talked about whether or not you should do Let's Play or normal YouTube type videos. This week we are talking recording software. And more specifically, we are talking about the recording software that I use. Now, I use a little program called Mirillis Action, which is M-I-R-I-L-L-I-S, and then Action, with an exclamation point because it's awesome. Now, this is a program that not a lot of people know about. I think a lot of people use either Fraps or DxTory or OBS, which stands for Open Broadcast Software, which is free, by the way. So if you want a good program that's free, that's the one to do. But this here, I believe, was like 20 or 30 bucks, and I really liked it because it looks super nice. And it has all of the features that DxTory has, and it doesn't have the huge file sizes that Fraps has and all the problems that Fraps has. So let's get into it. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of tabs up here that each do different things. I'm just going to kind of go over everything as a whole so you can see what this does. And then we'll go over good things that I found and a few bad things I found as well. So this first tab here is your video recording, obviously. And I have it set up to where you hit F9 and it starts and stops your video recording. So here you can choose the output folder that all of these will be in here. And then as you can see, I have 18 videos in that folder, taking up 167.19 gigabytes, and I can sort them by date, size, name, up and down, all that good stuff. Now, here's showing you that you're recording, and it's showing you the file name you're recording, how long it's been going for. If you select any one of these, this video here is in 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p, 30 frames per second. It goes for 13 minutes, 47 seconds, and takes up 5.19 gigabytes. And if you look here, I have 111 gigabytes left on my drive before it's full. And then when you have one of these selected, down here you can delete it, you can play it, you can open the output folder. This one's export it. This one's export it to Facebook, and this one is exported directly to YouTube, which I haven't seen much of because I do editing before that anyways. And then one last thing I wanted to show on this part of the screen, if you right click, you can delete, open the outputs folder, export, or delete all, which I've accidentally done before. If you click any of the delete ones, it pops up a thing that says, are you sure you want to do this? And then if you're an idiot like me and you accidentally hit yes, you erase like 2 hours of recording stuff. So onto this side, we have F9 starts and stops. Recording modes. Right now I'm recording in desktop. You can do as a region where you can set up, I want to do just this, or, just this face right here, and, whatever you want. This one has a nifty snap to tool as well, so you can snap to different regions as well. So if you have a video open, you can snap to just the video, which is super awesome. But the one I use the most is this one, which is games and applications. Obviously, that is the one that I use the most. This one I use every once in a while. This one I don't use too much. And right here you have file format. I usually do AVI. You can also do MP4. Video size, you can set it to a specific size. I usually do original or one of these two here. I do 30 frames per second for all of my video recording because when you upload to YouTube, it dumbs your video down to 30. So you can do 60 if you want, and then what it'll do is just chop out every other frame when it goes up on YouTube. 60 or 50 I recommend only if you're doing slow motion shots. Otherwise, I recommend 30. So you can set a duration as well. So let's say maybe you just want to record 10 minutes of video. This will record exactly 10 minutes or whatever you have it set to, and then stop. I'm not actually quite sure what perfect video match mode is. You can click this and learn more if you want, or go on their website. I never use it though. So record system sounds, so that's recording all of the stuff in the background as well. Allow multi-channel audio recording, which is really nice. If you want to have your game audio in one channel and your microphone in a separate channel, this is the option for you. Now, I've never actually gotten this to work right, but we'll get into that later when we're in the sound areas and the settings. And then, of course, microphone, you can set to always record, do not record, or record on a button down. I record all of my audio as far as commentation audio in Audacity, and so I set this to do not record. You could set it to always record if you want, and then of course a big red button that starts and stops recording as well. So that's it for this one. Now, live streaming. This does do live streaming. I have never used it. It's a little bit extra. I think it's like $10 or $15 or something. You have to buy a subscription. Not quite sure. There's some numbers here I'm going to be graying out for this section of the video so you can't steal the identity of my live streaming software right here. But if you go into this tab here, here's all your live streaming setup. So video size, frame rates, bit rates, all of that sort of thing, stream keys is all here. So I don't use this, so I don't know too much about it. But then again, you know, maybe you do. Maybe you don't want to use OBS or something. You can use this instead. So next is audio recording. You can set it up to do audio recording just like you would do video recording. So as you can see, I have one here that is a test, so you could see it was here. And it's basically the same as video. You can do a duration the same as video, output to a WAV or an MP4 audio file. You can do multi-channel audio recording. I always recommend you check record silence. So if you're talking and then you stop and then you keep talking again, it doesn't record the gaps in between your talking. So if you're doing this with gameplay audio or something, this would make all of your stuff out of sync. Whereas if you just leave it checked, it'll always be in, and you can go in later in Audacity and click out parts if you want. But same thing here, microphone, always record, do not record, record on button down, and a start and stop recording button as well. So this does benchmarking as well, which is something I've never really messed with. I use something else for my benchmarking software, but this does it if you want. You can also see up here at the top, it'll show you your current frames per second, average frames per second, and how long you've been recording. So you can use this a little bit as well. So I'm not running anything, so that's why that's so super slow and low. But it also shows your system specifications. I'm running Windows 7 64-bit, 8350 8-core processor, and 8 gigs of RAM. So, you know, it's got a lot of cool stuff here as well, and it saves it. Again, all of these you can change where you save to as well. So, capturing screenshots. This will also capture screenshots, and you can change the button for this as well. The file format to a BMP, PNG, or a JPEG. And you can do entire desktop, which is what I have it set to right now, or you could do certain sections or gameplay or whatever you want here. It's grayed out because I'm recording right now. And again, capture screenshot button. Now this here is your settings tab. This is where all of the magic happens with this. So let's look here. General settings, of course, is about the program, so I'm in English here. Application window always on top. If you want this window always on top, that is what you want to click. Check for updates I have clicked, and none of these I have clicked. But you can have it where it starts the application when you start up your computer and minimizes it to your tray down here. You can have it hide the window when you start your recording. You can have it show it when your recording is finished. So when you hit F9 or whatever you have it to and it stops, it pops up. And you can enable a remote control, which I don't have. So next is your video recording settings. I always do mine on high and 0 to 255, but there's a low and normal and a 16 to 235. I'm actually not quite sure what this does. I've just always been told to do it on 0 to 255. And of course, if you want the best possible video quality, do high. It'll make your file sizes slightly larger, so if you don't have enough room, maybe do medium. I'm not quite sure. That's your call. But I use multi-core recording because I have an 8-core processor. This is very nice. I also sometimes record with my mouse cursor, sometimes I don't. That is up to you. You can also have it visualize your mouse clicks, so when you click, it has this little flash or like little rings or something. So I've never used this before. I know it's there though. Now you can overlay a graphics on there. So if you wanted to have, let's say, like my SeaOtterGamer logo right here on Samus's butt, I could put it down here in the bottom right hand corner or any of these and just put your input file and then where you want it, you know, basic, all of these, or in the center, and then check overlay. And while you're recording, you'll always have your whatever you want it as your overlay. You know, like the people who do Twitch, you know, who have all the overlay graphics and stuff. This would be super useful for that as well. And speaking of which, you can have this record your desktop, sorry, what am I trying to say? Oh god, lost my train of thought. Train's derailing. You can have this record your webcam, thank you, to this thing, here, right on top of your video if you want. You don't have to do separate. This will do it right on top. I don't do this, but you can, and of course you can do always record on button down, just like everything else. I could click here and do my webcam. I'm not going to though. And then here you can pick those positions. I think it's the 6 corners and top and bottom. So, and then you can pick a size as well. You can do a second webcam if you want to have 2. Maybe you have one of you and one of your cat or something. I'm not quite sure. And then you can do it in 16:9 ratio or 4:3 as well. So that's pretty nice. Microphone settings, I have it set to my blue snowball, of course. I have it turned up all the way, and then I don't have it recording in a separate track because I'm using Audacity right now, but I have my audio device as system default. This is how you get your system sounds, like your gameplay audio, that sort of stuff. So that's pretty important. Now, if you want to, you can click down system sounds to like 16 or something, and then microphone up to 84. That seems to be a pretty good balance. And do this all in one track if you want. And it'll record both of them on one track on your video. You don't have to splice it in or dub it in later or anything. And if you click this one here, it'll reset to the default, which is at 16 and 84%. So I used to do it this way. Now I do it with Audacity so I can adjust it manually, which is a lot better. And of course, you can adjust your bitrate as well. So next is the HUD. Now the HUD is this little guy up here at the top, which is super useful. So on the left here, it shows your average frame per second. Right here, it shows what frames per second you're recording. When it's red is when you're recording. When it's blue, you're not recording, which I can't show you because I'm recording right now. So when you're not recording, it's showing you the frames per second of your game. So if you just want it up and you can see how many frames per second you're getting while playing Counter-Strike or something, it'll tell you. Now when you're recording, this will be at like 30 or whatever you have it set to. So now the really useful thing with this, because I used to always forget to set a stopwatch, they added in a recording time to the bottom of this. So whenever I'm in game and I'm like, oh, I've been recording for like 8 minutes, this is what I'm looking at here. So now there's a few things here. I usually have this one clicked where it hides it when I'm recording. I don't have it clicked right now so you guys could see it, but I do have it still clicked for when I'm playing a game or application, it'll hide it. Which basically what that means is it won't record it, but it'll still be there for you to see it. So, which is super important. So you can still see it, but it won't end up on your footage. Now, you can also have it hide the HUD when you start up the program. Not quite sure why you'd want that. And you can choose where you want it as well. So depending on your game, maybe you have, I don't know, your magazine count here or something, and your health here, and something or else here, and your, kill to death ratio and stats here. Maybe you want it here. I don't know. It depends on the game. But you can check those 6 positions as well. So, export settings. Now, if you want to, you can export this directly to YouTube, directly to Facebook, or to another file as well, and it'll encode it to whatever you have. I never do this. I use the raw footage and then put it into my editing software and then export it later. But if you want to, you can do it this way as well. Now this uploading setting here is for YouTube. If you want, you can have it automatically split your files into 15-minute chunks, which I don't recommend, but if you want to, that option is there for you as well. So, and then here's where you can sign into YouTube, and this is where you export if you export it to a different file. So, and then finally, last but not least, here we have your hotkeys. So I have F9 for video, audio's F10, and you can show, hide, HUD, all this sort of thing here. So, and all of these are rebindable. You can check off some of the stuff, like if you never want to use this, just check it off. And then, you know, these ones here are default, you can't check off, but all the other ones you can. I'm not actually quite sure what this does. Probably resets to default or something. But that is it for a tour of this. Now, I really like this program. It's been very good to me. There's a few things I want to talk about. Is one, every once in a while, this won't work on some games. So, I'm pretty sure when I tried recording Call of Duty Ghosts with this, it started freezing. But so if you want to set it on desktop and then zoom it out all the way, or, you know, maximize it, you can, or do this as well. But for some reason it wasn't working. I think that's just Ghosts, because I think Fraps has a lot of problems with Ghosts and stuff as well. So the other problem I had was when I accidentally deleted all my files like a dingus. So there's that as well. And then every once in a while, if you click out of a game without stopping your recording, it'll stop your recording and freeze, which just means you have to, you know, hit Control-Shift-Escape and bring up the task manager or something. But it'll still finish your recording, but it'll freeze your program, so you have to get out and back in, which is kind of annoying, but that's probably my fault because I forgot to stop my recording beforehand. Other than that, and the fact I've never gotten the multi-channel audio to record, I have never had problems with this. It's always been very good. I've gotten very nice quality video and audio from it as well. And I really don't have anything that I can say to where I would say not to buy this program. It's solid. It looks very nice. Everything is super easy to find. You know, let's say you're like, oh, I want to do this. Bam, it's right there. So, and it's just very easy to use as well. So, I know a lot of people like DxTory or Fraps or some of those, but if you're looking and you're not quite sure which one to do, this one has a free trial. I would check it out and then, you know, make your decision on that as well. But that is it for Mirillis Action. I hope this was informative. If you're looking at different recording software, I hope you choose this one, or whichever one, you know, suits you the best. But this one has been good. I just don't see a lot of people talk about it very much, and so I wanted to make this video to outline some of it as well. And that is all I have to say. I will see you guys next week for my next Saturday morning bonus video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down, but please leave a comment down below. It helps out my channel immensely. And on this page is a link to my Twitter account, as well as a link to my previous video for you to check out. Thank you guys very much. SeaOtter out.